Hello everyone, you're watching Campus Channel and we're here today with ESITC Caen to talk about their postmaster program, Expert in Maritime and Port Structures. We have the program director, Guillaume Carpentier, and a student, Adeline Dumas, here to take your questions. But first we're going to start with the pitch. All right, you have 60 seconds flat. Are you ready, Guillaume?
Yeah, thank you, Jacobs.
Okay, go.
And good afternoon. So we are very pleased here to present to you our one-year postgraduate training program dealing with port and coastal engineering. This training program was developed in order to answer to strong demands from companies and also to answer to the 21st century challenge, which is climate mitigations. So it is dedicated for engineers who want to improve their skill in this field, and many high-level lecturers come from all over Europe to give lectures. At the end, you can work in a company as a project manager, you can work into engineering company, maritime works company, and for sure, if you are rigorous, curious, and wants to live your passion at 100%, come at the ESITC Caen. And do not forget, it's not also a main job, it's also a woman's job.
All right, that's a good note to end on. Time is almost perfect. We're going to move on to the face-to-face. Please remember to keep sending us your questions. They're going to show up right there. So let's take the first question, and I'll have Adeline read this for us, please.
First question, what are the typical profiles that you accept into this master's? I'm not an engineer, but I have a master's 1 in physics.
I think this question would be for me, sorry for that.
Yes, I think so too.
So for sure, this one-year postgraduate training program, it is dedicated for for engineer or master degree, but you can, we have like an exception of 30% with 3 years into a company if you are only at master 1 year. Okay, so normally it is dedicated for person who have graduated their master. And
so what are the typical backgrounds that these students come from? Are they engineers, civil engineers, mechanical engineers?
Yeah, okay, so mostly it is civil engineers, but mechanical engineers good too also. It depends on the demand of the company. It is very large. In fact, maritime works and port engineering is a very, very large field. So you can find different jobs from the electricity to the concrete, from structure, anything. A lot of topic.
So for example, what are some of the backgrounds of the students in this year's class?
Mostly civil this year.
Mostly civil engineering, but we have also a doctor in geophysics. And so concrete was not his job, and he could catch up without any difficulty to...
Okay, yes, and we have also students from university, from oceanography. So you see it's very large. So from oceanography, wave, civil, mechanical, in fact it's very large, and you come to this training program in order to find a very specific science.
And some lessons at the beginning of the year are provided in order to catch up with the different topics that we were not used to.
So everyone gets on the same level?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, yeah, there is a big program at the beginning, yes, with a different topic in order to uniform the different provenance. So from geotechnics, wave, structure, etc. before to start to go deeper into the different lectures.
I would say that you need to have a good scientific basis.
Okay. All right, let's take this next question here. Guillaume, will you read this, please?
Do I need to have professional experience to apply for this program? No, not at all. No, not at all. Yeah, for sure, no. For sure, if you are only 4 years degree, you need 3 years of professional in order to apply. But after that, no.
And do students come to this program with professional experience?
Like Adeline?
So Adeline,
it's my case, yes, but I think we are only 40% of the class coming with a professional experience, and we don't feel that much difference with the other students. They can catch up without any difficulty. Of course, it's a luck to have already a professional experience.
What is your level of professional experience coming into this program? What were you doing before?
I was working for the French government as a Master of Work, a project manager in Maritime works.
How many years were you there?
I've worked there for 7 years.
Okay. And so are you continuing to work while you're in school, or is this a study break, essentially?
It's like a study break, and that's perfect to just focus on learning. So.
And so then the other students in the program, so you said you're about 40% of the class who have professional experience. What's the average level of professional experience if students do apply with some previous career experience?
It's nearly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's the same, yeah.
So why, as someone who, so you've worked for 7 years, why come back to this program if you are already in a professional career and on a path?
It was to get more theoretical backup, and also to get the latest researches and to get the overview for what's going on today all over the world in maritime works. And would say also that it's a way to, yeah, to come back on the basis. And forget it.
And so far, are you satisfied with the backstopping of theoretical knowledge that you came for?
Well, yes, I am. Definitely for all the topic of the propagation of the coastal protection, of the project management, and yeah, that's great for the scientific point of view. It's great.
All right.
Yeah.
Would you like to add anything to that, Guillaume?
Yeah, yes, I'm very happy with that, and for sure we try to find the high-level qualified lecturers in every topic at the moment. So we try to find the persons that is the most known to be at the top level for each lecture. And we have very, very typical lecture which is not taught, I think, so in Europe and maybe worldwide, like ship moorings or different. If you go on the program, you will see we have very, very technical and professional approach of the different lectures. So
that's exactly it. It's not air, you know. It's not like a windy formation. It's what Mr. Carpentier said about the expertise of the different teachers. They are really workers in that field, and they are coming to explain and to give us their knowledge, and they are really in a big wish to share with us what they know. So that's great.
All right, I think we have another question here for you, Adeline.
Hi Adeline, can you tell me about your background and why you choose this program? Did you consider any others? So my background was to work in for the French government, and actually was my employers. They were looking for a better expertise, so I'm still working, and I wanted to follow the program of the ESCTC on the advice of my employee, but they let me the choice to pick up another school if I wanted to. And after having looked on the different proposals in France, because I wanted to stay in France, I picked up the ESCTC Caen because of the fact that it was only for 1 year with an internship of 6 months, that the program for the school time was quite heavy but seems very interesting, and also about the fact that it was graduating in only 1 year.
This seems like it's a very specialized program, so I can't imagine that there are a lot of other programs that also cover these same topics.
Programs can exist, but mainly they are in 2 years, and we don't have all those topics in a very short time.
And also, because it's a 1-year postgraduate training program accredited by the Conférence des Grandes Écoles, we are protected to have the monopoly of this topic, in fact. So coastal and port engineering, normally it is the only one-year postgraduate training program in France, and we try also to find the high-level lecture of each lectures.
And so before your 7 years of experience, before working for the French government, what had you studied before that?
On my part, I studied civil engineering in the public civil engineering school in Lyon.
Okay, so very linear path that you followed to this point.
Seems to, but I was working on more the river side, and so I added the salt in my new studies.
Nice. All right, let's take the next question here, Guillaume.
What is the degree that is awarded in the post-master program? Is the degree recognized outside France? So I can say this training program is recognized by la Conférence des Grandes Écoles, which is very well known all over the world. And it is recognized now outside France, not only because of this, but also because of the name of the school. For example, every June we receive students from all over the world. Last June there were like 60 students from 20 nationalities that come in order to learn and to follow a workshop dealing with port and coastal activities. So they come from everywhere, and it is known now worldwide by company that that topic it is well covered at school.
So this degree, it's a master's degree. That's what.
The workshop? No.
No. But this particular program that we're talking about.
No, it's when you've got a master. This is a 1-year postgraduate. So it's when you got your degree, your master, you can apply. Okay, it's 6 years.
And so tell me a little bit more about this workshop that you were talking about, because I don't think many international students would know about this school.
Yeah, but now on they know that they know of. So in fact, during this 1-year postgraduate program, they have also this kind of projects. So during 1 month, or for your case, it's 4 months, 3 months, we give them a real tender from a company.
Is this the workshop you're speaking of?
It's the same for international students. We have for 1 month, but this is completely different.
Okay.
It's just to answer to the guy here to say that it is known now abroad that at the ACTC camp, your degree is recognized by company abroad.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent. Let's take this next question, Guillaume.
The site says this program is mainly taught in English. Are we required to speak French? I think it's easier, much more easier, yes, for sure. But the program is taught in English and the support of the lectures is in English. But for sure, it's helpful to speak French. It's helpful.
So 100% of classes are taught in English, no French necessary to complete this program. So normally, what's the caveat?
What the caveat? We try to, no, it's 102, yes. It's just because you will have some interaction with some other students from other programs. Sometimes they speak French, that's it. But normally with all the professors, all the lecturers, they speak English.
So are students who don't speak English at a disadvantage whenever they apply to this program?
No. No, because all the students in France try to speak English also and have to speak English. Just to say for the life, for sure, it's better to have some knowledge in French, but that's the same in every country.
And do international students have the opportunity to learn French in this program? Can they take French classes?
Maybe at the university, yes, also we have some lectures at university.
So you were just saying, Adeline, that the program is very intense. So, I mean, you are French, so you speak French. Do you think there's time for international students to take on extra courses?
I think there is always time to do extra things. But yeah, better to speak French a little bit before coming in the class. Don't forget that CTC camp is in France, so better to speak French a little bit, not to be completely lost.
Yeah, but for sure we have some students that only speak English, and there is no problem at the moment, you see. So that's a message.
All right, we're going to take a quick break from the face-to-face because it's time for 3 words max. Our guests have 3 words to describe their program, and they get 1 phrase to explain their choice of word. So, let's hear the first word.
Would say boom.
Boom?
Like saying that the SATC camp is actually answering to an exploding need.
All right, that's quite creative. All right, number 2.
Worldwide, because it's international. We try to work with different companies all over the world and to take the best practice everywhere. And the third one, the last one, if you're social?
Would be passionate.
Passionate, great.
Because, well, it's quite intense and we need to very enjoy working on those topics in order to succeed, to achieve the goal.
All right, excellent. I will have to say that boom, that's the very first time I've heard that word, so congratulations, bravo on the originality. Let's get back to the face-to-face. Adeline, will you read this, please?
Well, you don't have any information on your site about the organization of the program. How is this program structured?
Okay. So normally you can load the brochure, but I can explain. So you have 6 main group of lectures. So one is for port management. So the history, the politics of the management of port and how you will develop a port. Okay, so if you'd like to work in a port. Another one is for port and coastal structure design. Another one is for renewable marine offshore energy design. Another one is for specific science, sorry for that. So we ever talk about that, it's wave, geotechnics, concrete, etc. in order to uniform the different knowledge and skill. Another one is a huge project called CPM. In fact, it's the tender we give to the students. And the 6th one, in fact, is the professional thesis.
And so are all of these courses given at the same time? Do students follow each subject
Yeah.
at the same time over the course of 6 months?
Yeah, so in fact you have 6 months at school to follow the different lectures, fully taught in English,
Mhm.
and then you have 6 months in the company for the professional thesis. So
And so how many hours a week are students spending in class on average?
face-to-face too, I think
It's
24.
around 20 and 30 hours per week.
Okay. So you were saying 6 groups of lectures. So for each topic that you just mentioned, is it one class or are there several?
No.
Okay.
When I say, for example, port and coastal design structure, it's just a pool of lectures, and then you have the design of breakwater, the design of keyword, berthing structure, mooring structure, ship mooring, pile driving, etc., etc. In fact, it's just a pool. When I'm speaking about port engineering, it's just also how to do port planning, how to think about the port will be developed in order to build something for now and for the next 20 years or 50 years. When we're thinking about renewable marine offshore energy design, it's not only to build or to design the basement, but it's also to make the transport and encourage the structures. You see, to do the pile driving. So when I gave you, it is the title of each pool of lectures, and we try to make a mix in order to fulfill and to follow the projects, the real projects they have when they are at school.
And for the thesis that you mentioned, does this come at the very end of all of these lectures at the end of 6 months, or when does the thesis come about?
We are talking about the thesis from the beginning of the school period, but actually it starts at the beginning of the period in the company for the 6 last months of the formation.
Okay, so do students decide what their thesis will be whenever they start the program, or
No,
what's
no,
that
in
process?
fact, so in fact, they will stay first 6 months at school, so they have lecture, and we discuss together about what their expectations, their skill, what they want to do, and then we have a lot of companies that support the training program. You can go on the website and then you will see that, and we discuss with the company, with the students, in order to better fit the expectation, in order to have a professional thesis that is okay with them. And
sort of trio which is organized between the company, the school and the student.
And that's why the word boom is very good, because this year with the crisis is over, we can say, in the civil engineering parts, and then there are a lot of possibility by now.
All right, let's take the next question here, Guillaume.
How many students do you accept each year? It is mostly French. No, it's not mostly French. So we have like, in order to respect the CEGE, la Conférence des Grandes Écoles, we'd like to have a class of 8 to 12 students, okay? And we have like 30% of foreigners, okay? We try to have something. If it's 50-50, it's 50-50. So 5 French or 6 French and 5 to 6 foreigner students.
And where are these foreigners coming from?
So this year they come from Brazil,
Argentina and Togo.
Togo. But we have sometimes from Colombia, from other countries, Asia, it's depends.
So 10 students, it's a very small group. What is that dynamic like if you're spending all of your time together in the same classes?
Yeah, it's great actually. We are following all the same classes, and that's creating a good team spirit. So
You don't get sick of each other?
No, we don't. It's quite short, 6 months, and we don't. We can go home each night. So
Each night.
Yes.
Because
so everything's fine. We can bear each other at the end of the period.
All right, very good. Yes, Guillaume.
And
go
also
ahead.
for lectures, you know, they really like this, because we are all passionate, and this is a very good moment to go into the lectures room and to exchange with the students about the best practice to learn. It's very good pleasure.
Yeah, imagine to have one of the greatest experts in the world in that topic, in that field, and we are only 10 to listen to him.
And you see, they are very passionate, so it's very good. We can discuss every point, so it's wonderful for both students, but lecturers. If we met the lecturer, they will say, oh, it's wonderful also to share with such students.
We have tricky questions, but they always have the answer, so that's all.
And also they really like that. They really like to discuss it, because they think they have the good mind, the good thing, so it's very, very good moment.
Maybe one day you'll have a question that stumps them. They won't have the answer.
Yeah, oh
Yes,
yes,
that's-
they are
that
very
should be-
good. They are
I'm
very
trying
good.
to
That
That's
should be your
very
goal.
I
pleasure.
wasn't successful.
All right, let's take the next question here, Adeline.
Are the teachers all academics? Where do they come from?
So you were just
No.
mentioning all these
Yeah.
experts.
They are experts, and they mainly come from the real world of the companies. So they are engineers designing the real projects coming all over the world, and or they are real project managers as constructors, and some of them are also coming from universities. So we have all the panel, and for example, using the methods on the construction, we have a real head manager of a company working in construction, and to design on the numerical waveflume, we have an expert coming from the University of Rouen. We have also an expert from the University of Caen, and so.
Yeah, it's a good package, and you
mainly are coming from real companies.
Yeah.
So these teachers coming from the real companies, are they using examples from their daily work and the projects that they're working on? Do they share that information with you?
Sure, they do at the point that they are able and allowed to. But sure, they are really there to share their experience and to learn how to learn from their whole time experience in order to go quicker. In hours.
Yeah, they really love that also, because we have not only the persons who are on the site or in the engineering staff, but also we have some CEOs that really wants to give their knowledge. Of some the president of the Pianc or something. They come here and just want to share, to discuss the experience. So.
Yeah.
And so these are very high-placed, well-connected people who are coming into your program and teaching there. So what does that mean for you as a student? You had mentioned that you already have a job lined up for after school, but is that good for a professional network, for a student's professional network? Do these teachers ever recruit or offer internships?
Yeah, when I say that, like a CEO of a very huge company come to give a class, you can he come because he is very keen on teaching, but also because they're looking for some bright person that are here to follow the lectures.
So they're eager to meet students as well who have the expertise that they're looking for.
Yeah,
everybody shows up with their CV.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a win-win bet.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Yeah, it's great. And also the network is very good.
Excellent. Let's take the next question here, Guillaume.
What is the course content and what's the mix of theoretical and practical? Okay, so
yeah, maybe I can go.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a good theoretical basis based on the latest research, as I said at the beginning, but we have also practical
and professional training just after
professional training. Yeah, we have the 6 months for the thesis, which is very practical, but also during the school time.
Yes, that's why I'd like to take an example. So, for example, for wave propagation of ship mooring, for example, they will have the theory, but just the basement, the theory, and then after that they will have lectures like a professional in a company, like the one I received when I was in company before, like you, etc., with the professional soft. And they will work on a real project, you see, each time. So it's both. Start with theory in order to avoid any big mistakes, and then applied on a real project.
But you also have simulations. I believe you were mentioning a wave simulator, or a wave propagation machine that you work with as well.
Yes, we can work in laboratory in order to perform geotechnical trials and also the wave flume trials. So this is an example, and we will work on that just in some days. And we have already performed the theoretical part in order to use this type of wave flume. So scaling effects and everything that we have to know before using it. And now we are going to use it for some days.
Yes, we are very pleased because tomorrow also we have a press conf, because the state has chosen the ACTC Caen in order to develop the new wave lab.
So the French government has chosen.
Yeah, yeah, so with the CEREMA, and we will have a new wave flume like this, a new one. It's completely complementary from the one at the University of Caen, and open access for students also. That way they can improve their knowledge and improve their design of breakwaters, and it is good for us also that the ministry chosen for this.
Because for that example, you can think that it's only a university thing, but this is real life useful. Because to design a breakwater or something that is going to live at sea, you need to perform a physical modeling.
Yeah, because it's so complex. In fact, everything is experimental, and then you need to validate your model after that in a wave flume. So we give the opportunity to the students to do that. It is very rare in Europe, I can assure you.
Very good. Let's take this next question here. Adeline, will you read this, please?
Okay. Does the program include real-world projects? For sure.
So
We are just
yes.
going out from a real world project. Maybe I can let
Yeah,
you
well, we
present
do it together. Yes, yes. As we say that we try to focus the different lectures following this real project given by a company. So we give them a real tender. This year it was in Jamaica, in Kingston. In fact, and we try to follow the different lectures. So wave propagation, wave vegetation, design, breakwater design, keyword, etc., ship mooring, etc. With this project, in China they have the lectures, and every week they have the balance tutored by the person who working on, and divided into group working as a company, which is a small competition. Maybe you can say more.
Yes, so we are a class of 10 persons, but we are divided in 4 groups and mixed also with the TC5, the 5th year student in the school, just in order to get a bigger team. And we are working on the very specific maritime part of the project, and so we have to bid on a very complex tender. And to bid on that, we are helped by experts, and we are really working as in engineering study.
This sounds like a great excuse to go to Jamaica.
It would have been so nice, but
she won the project. She won the project.
But we didn't.
And so, does the company actually use the winning team's work in the real world? Do they apply the work? What exactly is the project?
So the project is already going on, and so if they won't use our work, the good point was that the real engineer in charge of the project came to the school and explained us what was really going on just on the last day. So that was great.
But for sure, company is very keen on this because they have a lot of students with new idea, very new, you can say, but with the basis, and they have new idea. So they take sometimes some idea in order to go ahead, and that's good. They really like it. They enjoy it for this.
All right, let's take the next question here, Guillaume.
Your site lists a bunch of partners. What do all these companies and firms mean for students? So in fact, when they support, and in fact it's not the whole list because it's increasing years by years, I can assure you. To be a support of the school, you have 3 main parameters. The first one is to give lectures, to take students in internship, and to hire students at the end. So if they have one of these 3 parameters, they can be a support. So it's not just a name. It's because they come to school, see the students, exchange with them, give their knowledge, and try to hire them at the end.
For us, it's not only words like title of companies. They are really coming at the school, and they are really teaching us. So I think we have mainly seen for the maritime part, all of your partners have been teaching us something.
So Adeline, you know very well from your professional experience, you know the industry, you know a lot of companies. How would you say this cluster of partners stacks up? Is it robust? Is it impressive?
The partnership with the school?
Yes, so just all the companies that the school has access to, the school has partnerships with. How would you say it stacks up?
I was really impressed about the fact that they are really coming in the school and they are committing themselves in order to share their knowledge. So I don't know if this really answers your question.
Is it a good variety of companies? Is it a long list?
Sure. Yeah. Coming from all the industry world, it's touching all the engineering studies. We have for the designers, we see nearly everybody. And for the construction companies, we have also a wide view on the companies.
Yeah, we have the ports also, the ministry, you can see, and by now on, because the list is not exhaustive by the moment, because we have now many other foreign companies that wants to apply. I cannot give some name because there are too many, and it would not be fair.
You don't want to leave anybody out, of course. Moving on.
Relevant. And that's not something like the school is closed on one company in one field, no.
In fact, we have 100% at the end, 100% employment at the end of any training program here, just because we try to make our program made by company for company. You see, that's why it's work.
All right, maybe we'll talk a little bit about that later, but moving on, up next we have the expert question. Okay, Guillaume, here's your expert question here.
Your site lists several challenges the maritime engineering industry faces. What do you think is the biggest issue for professionals face, and how do you prepare your students to tackle it? Yes, that's great. I started my pitch with that we have a challenge for the 21st century, which is climate mitigations. And for sure, we have the COP21, the COP23 by now, and a lot of, how can I say, the issue and the big challenge for me is the climate mitigation. And we try to work on this with students. For example, we have developed a new lectures with numerical wave flume, in complementary of the experimental wave flume, in order to accelerate the way you can implement structure, to implement the adaptation of the structure to the climate change. So we know that the sea level rise is like 1 meter in the next century. How I will adapt the different structure of defense for the population, and also I will adapt the different ports to this. So this is the main issue for me. I don't know if you'd like to see something like that.
I share your point of view, and for the different steps, for the different jobs you can find after, climate mitigations is important, but one also of the big issue is to know how to work all together. We have 3 main steps in the construction. You have the person who pays for it, the person who designs it, and the person who builds it. And the ESCTC Caen is a way to mix all the jobs together in order to get a perfect shape of the team.
So how much does climate change and global warming, how much does that figure into class discussion?
I will do an example far from the temperatures. It means also we need to work more sustainable in a more sustainable way. So, for example, the ship traffic is far less pollutant than any other traffic. So the port exchange is increasing years by years. And then we try to develop new ports and new how to adapt ports to new ships, etc., etc. You see.
And to new need with the wind farm and the wind energy, you need to develop the harbors in order to be able to build the windmills.
Is this what we're looking at here in this photo? Is this construction on a port, or what would this be exactly?
Yeah, it's for the construction of breakwater, but also if I look at this, I can also think about the lectures we have. It's trenching and backfilling of supply cable. In order to follow your discussion, is that for renewable marine energy, we need also to tear up the cable from the offshore to the onshore, and then how I will do. So this is a typical lecture, the typical knowledge you can learn at school.
It's not always about concrete.
You see, it's trenching, backfilling of supply cable. It is something not very common, but very useful on the works.
All right, very good. Let's take a few more questions here. Adeline, will you read this, please?
What kinds of site visits are planned in the program? Do we have access to film and site at the Caen port?
We are planning one.
We've been already to Cherbourg.
Yeah.
And we are planning
to Le Honfleur and Le Havre. Yeah. And we hope to go on tugs in order to serve a very big container ship.
So you're doing a little port tour of the region, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do whenever you go to these sites and to these ports? When you go to Le Havre?
For example, I think I think it's very important to have the idea of the loads. Yes, the loads on the structure and the sites. Yes, yes. 2 things for port planning and design structure: the loads when you're making your design, and the site when you're thinking about port planning and logistic. So that's 2 main aspects, very practical, and that's good for you to take.
Yeah, and you need to see the objects in order to get the idea of the size of object you will deal with. Because actually the chain, it's not like a small chain. You're dealing with chains, like it's like 10 kilograms per just around.
Per link, yeah.
When you serve a vessel of 400 meters in length, you see when you are just at the two of this ship, it's huge. That way you can imagine the different loads on your structure. That's good to do that.
All right, let's take the next question here, Guillaume.
What kinds of job are we qualified for after graduations? Many, yeah. So as we discussed, is in engineering company, maritime works, or project management. So we have the 3 main aspects. So you can do the design, you can do the works, or management. Okay, in anything dealing with port, coastal, shore protection, flood risk. Also Frederick's, yeah. So many things like this.
Do most students come into this program knowing what job they would like to have after they graduate?
They are passionate most, but it depends.
They are passionate about the topic, but sometimes they don't know already if they will prefer to work in construction, really on the work, or to design as a designer. So for that, this year, and most for just graduated students, it's also a year to know. And that's a good way to go further in their own intentions.
Yes, and to discuss with the professionals that come,
Yeah.
I think it's good for this.
Yeah, discovering the jobs, and that's a way to do.
All right, let's take the next question here, Guillaume.
It is possible to stay in France for work after graduating if I am not an EU citizen. Yes, for sure, I think so. We have some example, yes. Yes, 4 years ago we have Myrène Barinaga, and now she's working for Soletange Bachy. So yes, for sure, there is no problem for that. Not at all.
So is it difficult for foreign students to find jobs in France, or is this an industry in need of
Yeah, they
experts?
really need. Yes, they really need. So by the moment, it's boom, if you remember.
Yes.
So there is no problem. No.
All right, here's the next question here, Adeline.
Will you tell me more about the campus, please? Is it situated on the port? So the ESCTC is on the Caen campus, and it's located in Éperon, which is at the north of Caen, and so between Caen and the sea. And actually by car you need 15 minutes to go on the sea, and a little bit more if you're doing by cycle, but
Or
you can
roller
go on the
skating.
Or roller skating, might be a little too far,
to
yes.
climb.
And so how big is this campus?
In fact, the whole campus is 26,000 students, but in our civil engineering school we are like 550 students. They are like.
But a very good point of that campus is that you got a university restaurant, and so you can eat there for lunch and dinner, and the food is good.
Yeah.
So you would just work all the time? You would just show up in the morning and then lunch,
if
work?
you want to, you can do
Yeah.
They have a lot of works, but they learn a lot, so that's good.
The working and learning conditions offered by the CTC Caen are pretty good.
Yeah, you can see our building here, and you see the region. A lot of partners, the company, pay for this. So they help us in order for our developments. It means we are in a good health, and the market is very good for employment for this.
All right, well, maybe we'll have to pay a visit to the campus very soon, but unfortunately we are almost out of time, so it's time for some last thoughts. Would you like to leave us with some last words?
Yeah, thank you for your welcoming, and I'd like to say about the ESCTC Caen and the postgraduate formation that it's a very scientific and expertise formation, and I think you can learn lots of things even if you're already working in that field.
All right, and Guillaume?
I'd like to say the same. So if you are passionate and you'd like to live your passion at 100%, come at ESCTC Caen.
Excellent. Well, thank you both very much for being here today.
Thank you, Jacob.
And thank you for
Jacob.
joining us. We'll see you again very soon right here on Campus Channel.